Okay, let's go. Okay, I think right here. Right. So okay, go. Let's see what we have. All right, so we started the little Grung Ranger last time. And yeah. I did kind of all the line art. Yeah, much I think. Unless I add in the patterning on the line layer as well. I guess I could do. Let's pop a new layer over the top so I can kind of just do what I want. Okay, and then it's camouflage type. Yeah, I wouldn't really be wearing it. Okay, and then okay, down here. I'm gonna do the same kind of thing with the toes that I did with the fingers. Just throw a line around there. Don't care for that. There we go. Throw one right there. And kind of do, no, I want it to kind of, no. Maybe it kind of comes under the eyes. Yeah, I like that a little bit more. almost act like grease paint. In case anyone was unaware, grease paint is used for sun protection for your eyes. So that's why baseball players and football players will have that black line. Now it's more like pre-made little like patch things more often than not, but before it was just like grease paint stick, black, and you put it there, and basically it helps, especially for those with fairer complexions, prevents the sun from bouncing off your cheek and under your eye, so it reduces the glare and all of that, so you can see better. Just in case anyone didn't know or cared. But so that's kind of how that would work with this guy. It would be right there, so it would kind of work in the same way. But it's just a natural patterning rather than something painted on. Because I did decide to go with a black and green poison dart frog patterning for this character, which I think works on a few levels. A, you have access to poison for your arrows, and B, camouflage for the forest and such. That's the bowstring. But those are just kind of the little things that you might want to consider when creating a character. And you don't have to make it, like I could have made it a red tree frog, red-eyed tree frog, yeah, I don't know. And it would still be a cool looking character. Just that, like, I did take the inspiration from the red-eyed tree frog for the eyes for this character. But again, you can pick stuff that might kind of work with the narrative, like, oh, this is a ranger, they're going to be in the forest, so rather than stand out, even though it's got poison dart frog patterning and color, it's green rather than blue or red or whatever. But it just helps kind of build that narrative in the mind. Might help. Like if you were making this for an actual D&D character you were going to play, it would help kind of put you in the character a little bit better, maybe. I always find it a little easier when there's little things that I can kind of work from. And I am going to make one of these eyes prosthetic eye, magical prosthetic eye, and I don't want it to look just like the other eye. I want it to kind of be its own thing, so I'm gonna kind of change the color of that one so let's get in here. No, I did fix that. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's get in here. I'm gonna thin this line out a little bit. To rotation on that keypad, because that doesn't do it. I don't know why. Yeah, it just freaks out. Anyway, so I need to work on that. I think it's maybe because I don't think I set that up. No, I don't think that. That was already just all preset stuff. But I need to go in and see what it's set up as so that I can fix it. Rotate my canvas. Because that is a frustrating little thing to be able to do. At least not easily. Okay. Cool. Make that better. We can kind of make that point. This point. There we go. All right. Didn't really make the cloak like leafy, but it's okay. All right, so yeah, we can merge these together now. And let's lines and pop a new layer in here. So I can kind of probably make the leaf patterning in the flat colors rather than making lines. We're gonna try that. All right. I guess it did. All right. So I need my. All right. So let's hit that. We are on the wrong layer. All right. Okay. Okey-dokey. All right, and then okay, go down here, and we do. Before we do that, we need to invert that. Now we can do this. Okay, so then here, I want to go in, pen, and in here. And real quick. There we go. There are a lot of little bits that I missed here. Harder to tell when you're drawing on top of the sketch. Yeah, lots a little bit. Little artifacts. just gonna clean this up real quick. Get most of all of this. That. Go and do it later. Hopefully, I mean, I'm probably still going to do it later because just a lot of little bits that I probably can't even see right now. Alright, so we're going to lock the pixels on this. We'll go down here. We're going to start coloring in. Okay. Alright, so kind of on the bright green side. And I'll pop the brush size, bump that up. So I'm just going to hit all the okay, so that is missing. Ready. There we go. Always hard to remember sometimes. Is it the eraser or is it the oops, we are still on the wrong layer, yeah. There we go. Okay, I'm not layer wrong section thing. Alright, so yeah, right now I'm just going through and hitting the skin, I guess, and overlap it, or over spray or whatever you want to call it is fine. It's not a big deal. We still have to color everything else. I don't really worry about that right away. Yeah, to worry about that later. Okay. So we start pretty broad and we kind of just work towards more detail. Here, we'll go okay, drop my brush size down. Okay, go a little smaller. All right. And I am going to change the line art color, just not yet. I like to try and get the flats down first, because it's always interesting to kind of see how it looks and then how it changes when I change the color of the line art. I used to change the color of the line art before I started doing everything, but I think it's a little bit more fun. And it looks weird to do it after. I mean, it looks weird while you're doing it, and then change it after to something that looks more what you're expecting. But it's fun to see how it looks beforehand. And there's a bunch of different ways to like do black colors. You can use lasso tool and just like mark out the sections, like lasso fill, all that. You could also do that for shadows and highlights and stuff like that. I don't know, I like to just kind of draw it in, but there's no wrong way to color your stuff. Just one of those things. Whatever you enjoy or works best for you is how you should do it. If there's definitely advantages to different ways of doing it. I've watched comic colorists work with the lasso tool and like have it set up to create a new layer every time they use the fill. So they start with the whole thing, with the whole subject, and then work smaller and smaller to smaller and smaller detail, and that's really cool. And it's faster for the most part. You have to go back and maybe clean some stuff up, but it's really quick. But if you're not really worried about hitting a deadline or anything like that, then it's not really all that important to be super fast. Unless you want to be fast, then by all means, go for it. If I were to ever start working on like a comic or something, or graphic novel or whatever, I would probably employ that style of coloring. You know, there's always a place for stuff, different ways to do it. Alright, we're almost done with this part. And anyone watching is absolutely, you can ask questions or whatever. It's not going to interfere with what I'm doing or upset me. So if you have any questions or want to talk about techniques or art or something kind of art related or whatever, that's absolutely fine. I enjoyed chatting with people while I work. Okay, so let's see, what kind of should I go for with dark brownish? Yeah, why not? Okay, the other thing you can kind of do, go through, this works better if you don't have anti-aliasing on your brush. This would be better if you had like a hard-edged pixel brush. Just hit the outside edge of everything. Or you could just go to the line art layer and hit the magic wand and then fill this whole section. I'm definitely gonna do the rope a different color, but also not colored yet, so we're just gonna go The only problem with the way I'm doing this right now is, and you'll see it definitely right here, but you'll see the whole thing. I hit that. So you see, because I have that anti-aliasing on my brush, I have these lines around that. But that's not a huge deal. You just go around and you check it out. But yeah, you could make that easier if you just went with a hard edge non-anti-alias brush. Would fix that. I think you can also have the paint tool like overshoot. Overshoot where it is, like fill past by a couple pixels, and it would also kind of fix that. Well, that's not too bad. Get in here. A little bit right there. Okay. And then let's grab this color. I don't necessarily want it. Yeah. I want this to be a little bit more leather rather than like what I want the pants to be. Obviously they're set up like a harem pant. Sure, I'm going to have to do that a couple times. I don't know why people do that, or have bots that do that, or whatever. Right, and then for this, we're going to want. I guess we could go with, want to do like green, and fade it to like red. When maybe you activate maybe the cloak that is attuned, and when you activate it, it will match the surrounding. So you can hide. I think that would be cool. Thing. That's fine. I want to go to other parts of that we have already colored. That's kind of the thing. Alright, so I'm gonna drop that there. interesting part will be kind of adding in the leaves here. Figuring that part out. I think I have a leaf. Brush. Got feathers, but I don't think I have a leaf. Alright, so here. Going to start. I guess we can go down to the shoulder area. And then we can start transitioning from green to yellow. Fix that. Alright, so okay, now that will work. There. Orange. Okay. So that let's see. And we do need to go. Let's grab that. Fix that part later. Okay. And once I got this kind of set up, I can blend it with a blender. And we can kind of figure out where the lead to kind of be at. Okay. Less frequent than I was thinking it would be, but still annoying. Okay. Here. Oops. Too far. All right. Yep, so okay. Yeah, definitely go and blend this up once we get into that, and then again we'll go in. Nope. Okay. Now. Okay, let's grab this and right here. Yeah, we'll blend, and then we'll put the leaves in at some point somehow. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Okay. That can go in. Get a little bit more. Yeah, we'll kind of go ahead. Maybe it's a little bit more balanced. Right now it seems kind of top heavy green. All right. Let's see. Just need that to blend essentially. Okay, so I don't think I want to do it right. But if I don't do it now, it's gonna be later. There, now. Okay. Brush. Simple. That's fine, right? That's not too bad. bit. That actually kind of works. Oh, whoops. Let's grab that color. Color that's actually here rather than that is not. Okay, let's grab it. Okay, because that is. I'm definitely gonna have to go back. I should have done this first. 100% I should have done this first. I remember when I had to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and blend it entirely just kind of on your own. Sample like the overlap until you kind of smoothed it all out. Old school. Kind of employing that technique a little bit here, I guess. That's something that happened regularly. I mean, it doesn't typically. It's super. So basically I'm just gonna keep kind of semi-blending this. And even if it doesn't blend super well, it kind of works for the look, you know? That right there kind of gives you the leaf kind of look already. So, or at least something overlapping itself. Leaves, feathers, it's a little thick for. Feathers, I guess. Anyway. I kind of actually like that look. I forgot to. I'm gonna make a new layer quick because I don't want. Oops. There we go. Okay, down, up, just so I don't lose these colors. Oops. Really close to the first here, I guess. And this. Okay, so now we should have all the colors. Need them. Side of it. Yeah, we're just gonna lock. Okay, so now back to my brush. Again. think it's working pretty well, actually. There's that, and we're just gonna go that. Okay, like I said, that kind of transitional, kind of less obvious, but still. Yeah, that kind of helps, I think. Give it the look I'm kind of going for. Definitely gonna have to go in and fix stuff. We went over on the other bits. That's a lot easier than trying to do this later and then having to do it anyway. Okay. I think that kind of gives us, yeah, the look I was going for, which is nice. Alright, so my pen, and time to fix all the little overlaps. Alright, add here. Over here. Get close. Oops. No. Okay, there we go. Let's fix all the dark Right. That's a little bit there. Let's see. This. Boom. Okay, I think that's all. You need to go in here and clean whatever was messy. That's just awful. I don't like that. Oh, okay. Right there, that's fine. That's a scar. Could be jagged. Okay, I think that, oops. I think that fixes kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's not too. Actually, back. Okay, so we've got that set up. Let's grab this color real quick. And again, I'll brush this up a little bit. Don't understand people. Okay, so that's good. I think the idea here will be I'll flip these. Oops. All right. Let's see. This color here. Light. Yeah. Right here. There was a small bit right here. And there. Alright, I think that's all those kind of small bits. Cool. Okay. Tired people. Got that. Here. There we go. Pretty good there. Alright, so that is that. Let's get it. Yeah, same color. I'm gonna go there. Alright. gonna say. Fun to see if that's what that scar looks like. Alright, so we've got all the flats laid down now. Yes, okay. Got the lines here. Hide that layer, we don't need it. And we are going to up the brush side. We are going to see what happens. I'm going to change that. Second here. This should also kind of show any artifacts that I missed that were too thin to see, or too light to see. But black will bring it out. I'll probably have to put more. I always miss some. Okay, so let's go quick. Grab this color. To line up. Oops. Nope. Sticking it a little bit. Ooh. So I think that kind of brings it to life a little bit better. Alright, so now duplicate this layer. Delete what's on it. Alright. Let's see here. I'm gonna go purple in here. Basically 100% purple in here. A little bit right underneath. Here. And I do pretty rough stuff. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping in, saying hello. I hope your year goes well. Probably start with again, I kind of do rough pass and then I'll go back and I'll fix things. Where so all right. Go here. More. That right there. Little. That edge once we get. Right. That's it. Okay, let's see. Okay. There. Exaggerate that a smidge. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right, and get a little blade right there. Again, go back and kind of adjust things. this side of the bow. And all of this would basically be in shadow. Shadows don't have to be perfect either, it just kind of is what it is. However you design things is just how it works. For the most part, I mean, there's things you should consider, but kind of do whatever. Okay, that's not too. Don't do that right there. I'm just gonna pull it pretty much in the shadow. Comes back behind anyway. Yeah, we're just gonna put the whole foot. Or maybe that one bit right there. This will be all in shadow. Right edge there. And you can use softer shadows and stuff too. This is more of like a cell shaded style where there aren't really like feathered parts to the shadow. Just cut. All right. Go. Doki. This. That makes a little bit more sense for a Krung. Okay. Right. Now it's just kind of smoothing things out a little bit. All right. There we go. That's there. let's see. I think everything's pretty smooth over. All right, 15. Not bad. All right, down. Yeah, I think that's pretty smooth. Here. Right there. All right, so now round out a little bit. Now, let's see, to change this to black and darken. Yeah, I like darken a little bit better. This particular, and then we're going to drop the opacity down. Yeah, I don't mind that. I feel like that should be in now. So go ahead and do that. Makes more sense. All right. There should be like a small line that looks through here. Okay, that's not too bad. There we go. So then you can see it's got bright color, but it's all in shadow. Not too shabby. Alright. Cool. Now, do some highlights. But throw them on the middle of the lens. So much. Oops, that's right. Oh. This one. Okay. Now we go here. 10. Okay. Better. I guess here it will be kind of on the edge of that arm. Here we'll just put it on the middle. Kind of see how that one looks. All right. We want to decide that. Okay. This one I want to be thinner, maybe at that angle. Kind of soften a bit there. Okay. guess we can do soft light. And I'm not going to adjust the opacity of that. But there is our little grung ranger. And then could go here. Thanks, appreciate it. I think I want to add plus this. Oops. This part on. I kind of want this to be a little bit more vibrant. So what I'm gonna do is cut it out and I'm going to drop the opacity of that. Okay, yes. Cut paste, drop the opacity of that. There we go. Because I imagine it being a little bit thinner, kind of like leaves, so it would show a little bit more. Even right here. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That would help. And then 32%. That part. There we go. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good right there. All right, so my notes from my sketch. Let's see, I think that's pretty much all we need. Could lock pixels on that. Bump it up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Like 84%. Okay, and then no, I know. I want to cut and paste it. Drop that down like 50. Here, drop that down. There we go. All right. Let's see. One more layer in here. And here. Like a 5. Maybe a 10. Okay. Yes. Okay. Here, pen. Yeah, I guess technically we finished it today. Actually, drop that. Yeah, let's grab quick though. I want to make that a little bit bigger. Okay. Now we can go back down to this layer. Oh, whoops. No, yeah, we don't want this one. And we need to unlock this. Have that. Because even though it's like fading default colors, the whole point is you activate it and it will match your surroundings, essentially. Kind of like the Lord of the Rings when they pull it over and they look like rocks. Anyway, that's that. And pretty much done for today. If anyone has any requests, I got a couple minutes left. If you want like a sketch of something. We can call it a day. Pretty happy, like I said, with how it came out. Ended up very, very nice. Add that over here. Yeah. Oh yeah, I never gave him a bruiser. Yeah, it's fine. Mind. Yeah, I think it came out pretty sweet. Alright. Let's see. Some of those are punched up in the corner. That helps kind of fill up the space too. All right. Oh, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate everyone stopping in and saying hello, and for those that hung out and watched, extra appreciate that. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you guys have a great new year. I hope everything works out this year for everyone. Hopefully see you next time. If you want to see progress from the streams and all that, all my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, or X, if you want to call it that, Kara, Tumblr, Blue Sky. The handle is Zann20 for all of those. TikTok, I'm Zann20_art. Already taken. YouTube, you can find me at Zann20. All of my live streams are archived there, so you can go back to the very, very beginning till now and see everything. And if you miss one, you can find it there. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I always appreciate all of those things. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Hopefully see you guys next time.